Lyra, good early game plan, and their execution as far as that stage was great. It's just that keeping that momentum through the mid game has been where they stumbled, right? And they give up a bit of extra time. You know, they trade a lot of objectives while they're ahead, trade a lot of minion waves, rather than trying to force something while they have extra items, while they have extra power.
Interesting to note, we've got some common trends here in pick and ban, by the way. Graves was the very first ban of Phoenix1 both games. Seems like Meteos is not really practiced on the champion. And I feel like for C9 next week, they can look into that and be like, okay, that's a one-sided ban, great for us. Ashe coming out as a ban is definitely a surprise. She was not controlled at all in the previous pick ban, so a new one out of P1 here. Maybe they take away Apollo's Varus, and that's what he was totally going to go to afterwards. Still a red side LeBlanc ban from last time. There's the Varus banned away anyway.
It's interesting thinking about how the new pick bans are shaking down, right? Because each team has an idea of what they're willing to first pick, and not necessarily being willing to first pick a champion doesn't mean that they can't utilize a champion at all, right? Yeah, I'm very curious as to, because we definitely do know that he hasn't been playing the game much and how much time they have on specific champions. I do put a super high value on these trading AD carries though, so this first pick to me seems super worthwhile. Varus is banned out. Definitely going to jump right on the Jhin, just also because Arrow had such a great game last game on him.
The game last game, sure.
Really good snipes from him, so all in all, like the early round phase here from Phoenix1. Curious to see what Envy think they're trading back for it.
Well, tier list says Maokai Kha'Zix. We'll see if it ends up being that. Oh, Rengar, I forgot. Sorry, it was also left on the table. Rengar was banned by Envy, their third ban in game 1. This time it gets left up. Instead, they go for a Rise ban, and it means they get Rengar on the backside. Now, it did not go well for Moon earlier today. Moon lost both of his Rengar games, but Lyra's going to have his hand at it. Last time we saw him on the champion, he did get out-jungled by, I think it was actually a Nori. That could be wrong. I'd have to look at it again to remember, but I know he didn't have a great Rengar debut.
Yes, now very similar aspect here for Team Envy. They'll have just more playmaking ability. You know, anytime Lyra and Seraph can combine. And Seraph as well. He was one of the guys talking up Lyra the most of any player that I've heard in a very long time.
I think his verbatim quote was the best jungler of my life.
Perfect jungler, you know, anything like stuff like that are the things he was throwing around about Lyra. Like, so he is super excited that they picked up Lyra. He was very happy with the acquisition. So we'll see if they do get to combine their ultimates early on to try and, you know, start some early map control. But on the other side, I would expect Phoenix1 to answer the jungle pool here, as after you drop below Kha'Zix and Graves already being banned, it does get a bit more difficult. That being said, they have Meteos, and he prefers Elise. So, I mean, this guy maybe has more hours on Elise than
any other champion in League of Legends combined. Maybe.
I mean, Zac is definitely something he has a lot of competitive time on, but a tremendous amount of his solo queue time is also spent on Elise, so I'd be curious actually which between those two are actually his most played. But regardless, this is a Meteos classic, and we'll get to see him on the Elise rather than going for Kha'Zix again.
Complete comfort for him. That's going to be the pickup here. He's going to play Elise into the Rengar. Also, the Gangplank coming through for Zig, I got to mention, as pretty important. We can see GP flex. We see him mid sometimes, but Zig is on a carry against Seraph's tank.
Exactly, and so many times we talked about how good GP is into Shen. Azael is a huge fan of this matchup. You can penetrate through the armor. Your
dodge zone doesn't matter against barrels.
Dodge zone doesn't matter. Your ultimate can turn around wave clear.
Matches global. It's actually
really well. Yeah, you can semi-match the global. You can take out minion waves with it. It's just a lot of things here that do offer up pretty good answers to what Shen brings to the table. So looks like we're seeing the only desync being the AD carry role, and the reason they're doing that is that the Varus is already banned out, and Ashe is already banned out. So you know you're getting pushed pretty far down the AD carry chain already. What's 2 more bans, right? If Sivir gets knocked out,
Caitlyn and Ezreal the next 2 up usually.
I would actually ban Ezreal instead of Caitlyn. Considering the team comp that Envy are going for right now.
Actually makes sense as well.
But bot lane Ziggs is definitely a menace. So they go that route instead.
Alrighty, now it's time for EnVy to pick their first champion of the second phase. We'd seen Jace covered earlier by P1. It's going to be grabbed right here.
All right, so in my estimation, it would be a mid lane Jace. Yes, there is technically still some flex that we can have between the Malzahar, the Shen, and the Jace.
I was going to say that.
I know you're like, oh yeah,
support, let's go!
The options, yes, the options are there. But for me, I would expect, unless there's some matchup that they super want to flex towards that mid lane, when they see Phoenix1 locking their last pick here, that'd be what I would expect. And I still think that Apollo will pick up the Ezreal. To me, that's the type of player he is. Sure. Especially if your Shen ult and Rengar combo is going to want to be used offensively.
Ezreal can actually help them kill people. He's got the global, he's got the skill shot that'll land on the back line, so I do agree on that. See what he can get for himself. Lulu going to be picked up, of course. Lulu alongside Jhin, not the best synergy, but it can help with the frontliners. And as Gangplank is the top laner, Syndra going to come through as the not really blind pick mid lane. We know to expect it to be Jace mid, so Syndra will be played against it. We expect to see Hex Drinker pretty early from Ninja as a result, and now EnVy must round out their lineup with their bot lane marksman, which I guess could be Jace, but I doubt it.
No!
And it's Caitlyn.
I failed.
Caitlyn. I'm sorry, you're just not as smart as other commentators, Kobe.
All right, you can go with the solo cast freak. I'm out. All right, let's talk about the bonuses. Let's talk about the bonuses of Caitlyn plus Malzahar though, because I love the Malzahar ult into Caitlyn trap.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a good, level 6 thing that you can go for. Plus, even if they flash away or something after that, Caitlyn can try and follow up with her ultimate. So there are definitely pros to this way. It's just that for me and the type of player Apollo is, I usually like him to be on something that can handle himself. From his time on Impulse, he had to take care of himself so much of the time. It was either Sivir or the Ezreal, but regardless, not going to be the case this time around. And it does afford them some decent sieging as well. So they have just more options, I guess, here with the possibilities of the Shen starting to get a minion wave going, even though Gangplank can take it out, are there, and sieging up with a Jace Caitlyn, not the worst of scenarios.
Sure, those are two of the better turret takers to grab. Of course, the Ziggs ban would have helped them siege even better, I suppose. Worth noting, though, that Team EnVy are all physical damage here. Malzahar is mediocre on the magic damage front, in my opinion. Shen's pretty low as well, if he buys any damage, it's Titanic Hydra. So maybe a mono damage comp here from Team EnVy, but there's really only one tank for Phoenix1. That's going to be Meteos' Elise, and he's not even guaranteed to build that way. We'll see if their pickoffs are good, though. Of course, Gangplank, Cinder, and Jhin, all good at kind of prioritizing and promoting that kind of gameplay. We'll see if it gets turned around here. Team EnVy had a lead for so much of Game 1 and couldn't quite close it out. A hero steal from Meteos was the reason that Phoenix1 came out with that Game 1 victory. Now we are here in a Game 2. P1 hoping to improve to 5-4, and EnVy hoping to get their second match win in 9 matches as we get ourselves into the game, as the gates open and the game has begun.
All right, let's keep an eye on these pings coming down here as the spread from EnVy looks defensive. Probably should just have trinket wards go down late. I always do like to see where Elise starts though, because she is one of the most potent level 3 gankers and can help out your early laning as long as you know which side she'll probably be coming from, but not going to be the case. No invade here, no deep vision. And it will be the guessing game. The guessing game is pretty easy, by the way, just considering the timing and the health of bottom lanes and top laners. But always does add that extra confidence to be sure with the early trinket ward. And maybe we do have a delayed one.
Maybe so, yeah. There's always a bunch of weird, funny things Malzahar can do.
Yeah, real funny. Stealing away my blue buff at level 1 with just the voidlings. Real funny.
Yeah. See, I'm only sometimes a jungler. I don't mind if my lane mate starts stealing stuff away. I get field support enough.
All right. In fact, we will be having the Raptor start here. Once again, you get a lot of help from your solo laners. It's just junglers love starting this camp now because of the extra experience you're going to be able to get out of it. And there's the fake leash that we talked about. Zig, he takes 1 hit from the blue buff, uses a little bit of mana to shoot it, and then comes late to lane. So they don't give away Meteos' starting position. And these are those mind games I really like, especially with a jungler like Elise, who can visit one of those solo lanes super early on with very high
Look at
impact.
this pathing. This is actually really cute by Meteos. So he's like, yeah, we assume Rengar's doing the tried and true Raptor start. That's almost the assumption now in pro play. So Meteos gets to steal a blue in Fog of War and then get his own blue back afterwards. Defensive trinket, smart to make sure he doesn't get invaded, and that's just going to be a clean blue steal.
Meanwhile, Rengar actually went up. So Lyra, again, is doing the full red quadrant clear, just like he did last game. This time, though, on Rengar, doesn't have to back early. Still could do the same thing, backing early and getting another piece, or another longsword, or piece of the jungle item. And it looks like he is actually going to do it. Pretty big fan of that, apparently. But Meteos gonna punish him so heavily for this. And this is why, setting up into the game, we talked about the differences in playstyles of these two junglers between Meteos and Inori. And Meteos loves examining your replays of the last games, punishing Lyra so heavily for this really greedy route.
And he'll wait this
He's got the trinket ward ready to land the cocoon. You get your full burst out. At least should be able to get a summoner.
Oh no,
He had no patience.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Like Dr. Meteos gonna get jumped on. And can he get away towards the ward, actually? Lyra gave him a route outside.
Oh no!
Lyra's in the safety. Ninja to the
Meteos
worst
is gonna
possible
die.
way.
Teleport's coming in too. It's
all right. It's a party in the bot lane. Who's gonna do what? Jumps over, smites for stun.
Oh my God!
Stun. First blood comes through. Apollo gets it for himself. Arrow's next up, and Meteos screwed it all up.
patience.
2-0 Envy.
No patience. Oh, he figured Lyra was. He figured Lyra had some intelligence as far as some early war. No. I meant intelligence as in
I know.
spy intelligence.
I know.
Counter intelligence. It was counter juggling him.
Oh no.
That was.
If he went for the wolves right away, he gets away cleanly. If he waits 20 seconds and does it like that, he gets killed. Unlucky.
Well, impatient, more like. But, or too much patience. Either way you want to look at it.
Just exactly the wrong amount of patience.
But yeah, so this is the only bad scenario because they had everything working. His mid lane was pushing up. His bottom lane was pushing up. He had a ward down. He had already gotten the 2 counter jungles up, but Ninja just whacks him back into the jungle here with the Q, and then is able to also go cut him off from this top side. Bottom lane collapses first. Teleport comes in.
I don't know why he chose to help the fight, though. I don't know if he tapped the wrong direction. He wanted to join the duo, but...
And that is tragic for Phoenix1. That is definitely a tilter. You can definitely stabilize after that, but it is something that not only gives over early gold, but also sends team morale a little bit down the drain. We'll see how well they can hold on to this, though, because they are still 1 game up in the series, so that often, to me, really helps you stabilize and not worry about it too much.
Should be all right with this one. Lyra is going to keep clearing his jungle as he can. Jumps into the brush to get Greenfather's gift as well as get the extra stack on his passive. And he's going to clear away pretty cleanly. Ryu having a fun time against Ninja, and of course by that I mean the opposite, as Ninja has a free assist with some extra gold. No Magic Mantle makes his life even easier in the lane. Ryu just tries to withstand a inflated gold matchup. A nice taunt actually does pull Zig in a turret range and makes him take 1 shot. Quick Thunderlord's trade, and Zig's going to go for his... He's going to delay around. Just has a Sheen to deal with for now.
Whew. Thanks for calming me down, Freak. I'm still reeling from the early invade.
Oh, it's okay.
And this chaos.
1,000 gold up. Meteos.
We are going to see another bit of confrontation here as Lyra seen by the ward, but able to fend off Meteos.
Level lead for Lyra. Meteos only has 1 camp to clear. His Raptors just now spawned back up, so takes the time to sit in the mid lane. Now he's going to freeze away. Walks in melee range. The W hits everything. And Zig having a pretty good time against Seraph. Seraph did not use W. It was still actually on cooldown for a few more seconds, so we're seeing Zig get a pretty decent set of trades onto him. Of course, it's supposed to be a counter pick, and keep in mind, Seraph did TP out of the lane and have to take a very slow recall back. So Zig got a temporary lane lead, level 6 first as well, and kind of having his way with Seraph.
And this should balloon it, for Phoenix1 on the top lane. That's the only area that wasn't heavily punished by this invade. And even though he did get minions, Seraph did get 1 of the kills as far as the credit.
Their gold's almost equal.
Plus the extra assist. Yeah, so gold isn't the problem, but the experience that came from that extra wave does mean that the early Gangplank ultimate will be, available slightly in advance.
Right, exactly. So Seraph, I'm not sure if he's 1 or 2 waves away from 6, but it's pretty close. But in the time being, you see that purple bar very close to full, so I think he'll get it off of this wave. Yeah, almost definitely now at this point. So this should be Stand United right here. Just barely gets it there. And now that means that he can match the Zig Global. There was a 50-second window where he couldn't do that. Now back into the bottom side of the map, Adrian forced to kite away, and honestly survives it pretty well. Arrow only loses one summoner spell.
They keep trying to punish Ninja's lack of flash.
Ooh, bad cocoon. Meteos face plants into a caster minion.
Yeah, not able to land any of the skill shots here. Stun or cocoon coming up. Ninja's with just a quick walk up to the top side. Good play from him. He's got his ward there. You want to hug your ward side as a mid laner. And he's expecting jungle pressure because he knows that this is a vulnerable lane without the flash.
Aqua was out of mana, but still the boiling's up means Adrian can't take the trade any longer. And we can see the bot lane actually pretty significant advantage for Team EnVy once more. They've been going for the priority support pick, and Adrian tried to counter with the Lulu, but it hasn't really stopped it just yet. Obviously the kills that happened earlier helps that, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Not just individual play, it's, you know, the fallout from the Meteos failed invade.
Caitlyn getting that kill plus early purchase there. She's got a lot of range. She can abuse you with that extra stuff, so definitely hurts the bottom lane. And the entire bottom half of the map for Phoenix1. 1,000 gold though. Still can recover from that. We'll see if Lyra and Seraph can combine, because this is the thing we're looking at in Champion Select for Team EnVy. These two guys are very confident in each other's playstyles. But if you do leave that top side, this is a gangplank with the early sheen. So the tower will take a beating, and you'll probably have cannon barrage raining down on your head. So you need to be sure.
And I like this, that P1 actually trying to play something a little bit aggressive, get out of the bot lane, and actually play to the global. Seraph can't really use his ulti or his teleport in a useful way here. So a bit of early damage. Adrian pulls aggro. Only took one turret shot, though. Now the flash taunt's going to find Arrow level 6, and look at the damage output there. He's got no way out. Great taunt in and out. Lyra wants a bit more. Zig's in a world of hurt. Lyra popping off the CC. The chase is on. Zig's going to drop.
Oh, they combined for a play, all right.
Yeah.
It's just in the form of a taunt flash and a Rengar ultimate rather than the Stand United coming in. But Meteos, ever vigilant, Dragon caretaker here.
And this is the best possible Drake to solo 4 in Elise. Ocean Drake has low attack speed and no splash damage, so Spider Lanes can tank for 7 years. And Hakuo,
I call BS on that one.
Okay, you take for literally 6 auto attacks without me just taking any damage, takes the Ocean Drake down. Obviously, the 2 for 0, I'll take it for Team EnVy, but sub 10-minute Ocean Drake is quite valuable, especially against someone with poke.
Is as well. Plus, the next thing we're looking for is turret damage, because the first blood on turret would be something that could really catapult Team EnVy ahead. And we're in this scenario again where we're praising their, the early game and talking about all these advantages that they are accruing. This time, due to a lot of mistakes from Phoenix1, but regardless of where they got them, they are once again in control of this early game. Giant gold lead, and they have multiple tools that they can use to push that lead. Shen, Stand United available, teleport available.
Yep.
The biggest problem for EnVy at this moment that they're facing is they're worrying about Gangplank and how he's going to be scaling up, and is Sid going to be able to land one of those great Gale chains later on. This really good combo. By the way, there's that trap that was going to be after the Malzahar ultimate as well. So it was going to be taunt into Malzahar ultimate into trap if he had more life.
Yeah. If he didn't instantly die, he would have died later on. Worth noting, though, that Seraph is the flashless lane here. He burned it to get his team that double kill, and Meteos was unable to turn that lack of summoner into an extra kill here. Sure, Zig is pressuring, but he was going to anyway. But we're really not seeing P1 able to capitalize off much in the backside. Their ace in the hole seems to be... Oh, he's fine.
Close.
Okay, it wasn't out of patience, it was just running really fast from distance.
Exactly.
Those are separate mechanics sometimes. But yeah, I had the same thought as you. It's like, oh no, oh no. I don't think I've seen a Cinder screw that up in a very long time.
Not in a competitive game, I haven't. I've seen it plenty of times in my game.
I'm sure the next time I ever play Cinder, I'll screw it up, but I don't play that lane, so.
Wrap around gank here. Going to fail as the next 2 bushes are warded. Whoop, ding, ding, ding. All right, there's not much that it's gonna cost Team EnVy though. Meteos is in the river, plus there's a control ward in the next bush, so even though Lyra was spotted, he finds out that he was spotted super early on, so you don't waste your time.
300 gold lead for Lyra individually right now over his lane opponent, or his role opponent, I suppose. More control over the wards. And this time, Adrian puts one a little bit farther back. And it won't be in range of the Malzahar auto attacks anymore. It's always an important ward to have, though. Sometimes that can track some of the gank paths.
That is the second most busted part about Malzahar, by the way.
Boilings over the wall.
No. The shield that he has does not break when you pick up the honey fruit.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't get slowed at all, and you're just immune to all the slows. You can pick them all up super fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Slightly exaggerate. That's the best part of the champion, but nice little added benefit.
Ooh. I mean, it depends how hungry you are, because sometimes you just really want all the honey fruit.
I am a bit curious as to what a honey fruit would taste like. If it's anything like honeydew, then I don't really care, but
that's like the low-tier melon, really.
The lowest of tier melons, true. Ninja here is getting pushed under his turret, but he's CSing just fine, so it's not a big deal. And the focus for Team EnVy is still on this top side. Use this Caitlyn push, abuse the range advantage, abuse all the early kills and assists that she got with Malzahar here, who does have flash, by the way, so the possibility of one of those flash Voidling Malzahar combos to lock someone up into the trap.
Of course. Maybe it'll happen this time, Kobe.
What we're looking for.
I'll look every time for
we keep posing these scenarios where there is going to be action in hopes.
Yeah.
Because these are very, very possible plays, but
it's good to see that EnVy are playing around that, though. Anytime Hako has flash, it's like, yeah, we should be looking to smash that exact position open, because that's kind of the one shot you're looking for here. And anytime Lyra pops the ult, they might find it for themselves. Lyra is top side right now.
And it is important for Malzahar to have your shield up when you go for that play, because otherwise Lulu just turns you into a cupcake and the party's over. They can end it early and walk away from the trap.
One thing I'm a bit surprised by, speaking of mechanics, is so when Lyra's killing the wards, he does two things. Well, he does one thing and doesn't do another. If you hop, so if you hop in any way for an auto attack, if you hop in any way for an auto attack, you gain one ferocity, and that's cool. Oh, he's gonna kill Meteos. Okay, he's up in the air.
He did two things.
He's gonna land back down, go for a bit more damage. One more stack on that.
Do another.
He can get the leap. He can get the ulti. Oh, Meteos swatches away, stays alive. Maybe a bit over aggressive. No, here comes the rest of the ulti. Sadly, no Caitlyn in range, but he's still gonna find Adrian, who walked through the jungle for maybe no reason.
Everything's missing.
Root's gonna be in for arrow. Look at the damage output. That's gonna be Seraph going down to curtain call, and now Ninja's gotta be careful. One more shot will kill him off, almost. But the magic damage shield blocks the Deathfire touch. Stun on Lyra. No, but the root doesn't do any damage because no one dealt, or doesn't root because it doesn't do any damage.
Yeah.
All right, but that's 1 for 0P1 though.
It's a turnaround that shouldn't have happened. If that was a clean execution from EnVy, we would not be in the scenario where they're about to lose their mid turret. But we are, and the root lands.
They're gonna land a lot of damage, and Aqua goes down. Ryu gets the kill for that one, and that's gonna be Adrian dying to the turret. Somebody will keep him alive. Also worth noting, when the turret dies, it won't do amped damage on the final shot because the debuff disappears because the turret's dead. I don't know if you knew that, anyone out there, but if you kill the turret, you might live.
Killing the turret definitely helps. Dig as well, killed another turret. That helps them even more. Here we go, though, as Lyra goes for the chase. Stand United, by the way, he's in base right now, so he could do it at any point early on if they knew they wanted to go for this play. Lyra, I don't know why that shock blast went wide.
I don't think he saw the stun coming.
But then again, down here, they missed again, and Seraph is the one to pay for it initially as the Jhin bullets do come through. Then Ninja almost does.
Yeah, I don't know why he kept running left, though. He's just running into curtain call. That was a little bit weird by him, but hey, it's P1 getting 2 turrets in a row, getting 2 kills in a row, and they can really tie this game up with that.
Yeah, a little bit of a mess is exactly what P1 wanted to get back into this game. And again, we keep on talking about the off-screen Gangplank. Now level 11, Trinity Force is completed, plus the lethality starts to come in.
Of course.
And those barrel chains are ridiculous.
They're going to smash squishies.
The armor penetration that they have on them, plus lethality builds and Trinity Force procs, just absolutely demolished backlines. So the game now becomes for Team EnVy, pay attention to barrel placement and don't chase into brush, or else you get triple chained and you immediately lose the team fight.
But with the stun, only going to tag the super shield off of Hakuho, and Shock Blast gets Adrian back, but he's okay with this one. Thankful for EnVy, they have 3 ranged champions, so they do have the tools to kill off barrels if they play the team fights correctly. And big Ocean Drake grab is going to
burn it.
Equalize it nicely. Bit of an early smite from Lear, but they get away with it. Now the root damage on Akuho. Curtain Call coming in as well. Sadly, though, for Envy, it's all squishies, and Ninja down to half. Quick stun for Ryu. Can they kill off Lyra? He's ulting.
Meteos is deep.
Use it just to run away. Yeah, Meteos a bit injured, but it's gonna be the pretty safe Drake kill, and the retreat is not even a problem.
And if you're looking at your mini-map too, Zig is just chasing Seraph up the lane that whole time, so he was threatening. Even though Seraph was at full health, if he started the channel on Stand United, Zig would catch up to him, take him down to maybe half or below 50%. And if you come in this early in the game as a sub 50% health Shen, you don't really turn that around. So good chase there by Zig to keep the pressure up.
Quick laugh out of Ryu, and he's going to recall back to base and buy a bit more items. Has not had to build armor, which I find actually pretty interesting. Hasn't had to go for the resists at all, even though he's up against a Rengar as well as a Jace. Managing to not have to grab the arm guard, just going for more damage. Looks like maybe Void's next up in the menu, we'll see. But he's got the completed Merlinomicon and the Sork shoe, so he's pretty much completed the early game build without any major issues. Ryu, a lot of farm as well. Apollo actually massive, by the way. 183 at 18 minutes is a lot. And Caitlyn, one of the hardest scaling bot laners in the game, really. One of the few meta champions that build crit. Means he can absolutely smash team fights open if there's no heavy armor tanks, which there aren't because Meteos is going for an AP build. He's getting cooldown boots, he's going for a proto belt. It's not that same Dead Man's Plate build we saw from Lyra last game.
Yeah, I mean, that early skirmish in the jungle where they were able to collapse and get those early kills is just so good for Caitlyn. Otherwise, we see the reasons why she dropped so low down the tier. If she's not able to get to an Infinity Edge plus Runons at 1850, then she's not bringing nearly as much as the full lethality Jhin. But she's at that point, and even with just the 2 crit multipliers here.
Yeah, definitely a scary champion. And they're just always going to bring different things this game. Arrow will never do the same kind of team fight damage as Apollo, but Apollo will never start fights the way Arrow can. And obviously, most teams wanted the fight starting, they wanted the poke. But those champs were banned out, and here we're going to see some of that fight starting onto Apollo. Look at that, has to flash away. Now Hako in danger, takes 250 damage, re-engage from Lyra, and he's going to jump right back out of that one. And back in, and gets stunned, but he's going to be fine. And you can see the ability power focus build of Meteos does chunk Lyra to half. And that's why he's built this way.
Going for that extra burst. Should be able to get his proto belt up and running pretty soon here. In the meantime, Seraph actually went for some combat with Zig. I think this because Lyra's in tow.
All right, can any reinforcements come in time? Barrel to try to speed him up a little bit. Zig's still trying to run away.
He's got flash.
Lyra's in jump range. Yeah, but that does force the flash out. Didn't want to take any more damage. Didn't want to be slowed. But that is flash down, which is a worthwhile trade.
Definitely
by Team EnVy.
Takes away a little bit of the safety that Zig was working with in his split push.
Yeah, Lyra's only really found one successful gank. It was the double kill on the top side. He managed to secure the kill on, I think it was Arrow.
Top turret, no confidence here from Ryu to push up to it to actually get that local gold because they don't have vision. You see the double pink, double control wards he's trying to clear out now. Actually isn't even able to get the finish on that control ward, so no turret kill. Plus, still full vision control for EnVy up on that top side. Definitely a good thing for them. They want to keep the Jace pressure up, right? It's one of the things we critique teams for super often.
Yeah.
Stalling out with that pick as see if he's able to bring it to any sort of mid-game pressure here.
See, mid-game pressure, kind of the name of the game. EnVy, can they keep having that? Because well, right now it's actually EnVy slightly down in gold, despite the fact that they were up in kills. A lot of that being Gangplank exists and thus has more gold than the champions. The game's still very close here, and it's really about how they can pilot the mid-game. P1 is potentially in a better spot than they were in game 1. They've also got a nice late game to fall back on thanks to GP, so I actually wonder where the mindset really is. Are they happy to play safe and wait around for a long time? They've got a better mix of damage types. They've got a hard scaling top laner.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't dissuade them from setting up for some early Baron baits. Right now they're looking for picks on the other side though.
Stand United going to be popped. Lyra's going to be in the mix a little bit. Takes a whole bunch of damage though, and that's several spells down. And a bit more damage done by the Phoenix1 side. Looking for the siege on the mid. Hakuho ulti down.
Ninja looking for a snipe on the backside. Finds Meteos.
And Meteos is now too low to keep fighting. So that's immediately going to stop the siege in its tracks. They don't want to 4v5 that, and out they go. Ocean Drake will mean some region if they really want to stay. It's only going to take a little time for me to just get back into the action.
Yep.
Taking not too much damage there, and more wave clear.
Phoenix1 keep on using their long range ultimates here to try and get a pick. But not able to draw Envy far enough away. I mean, they've burned summoners. The last time they got summoners off both members of the backline, but Zig as well had to use his early. He is alone, but makes it all the way to turret.
Oh, gonna hit a barrel. Lyra pretty tanky, jumps out of turret range once again. Not able to get the kill. Nice job by Ryu. He is perennially the split pusher, and the dive bot lane doesn't pay off.
Yeah, Zig drawing so much attention. They finally do get the turret. Plus, even better, they got local gold for it, so didn't have to give up that bonus either. And with the draw down bottom, Caitlyn's going to have to take a long time to walk up here, but Baron does a lot of health. No real tank on Phoenix1.
Trying to rush it down. Bit of poke comes in for Ninja. They're going to try to rush this before.
They're burning it again.
Range. That's going to go down. Good smite in for Meteos. Ninja going to run away. Lyra doesn't have anything to do. Of course, Dolt was down from the fight onto Zig. Nicely played and good tenacious shot call by P1 to go for that. That was beautiful.
So much pressure from the gangplank here. He tries 3 members, gets out, teleports in. And you're right, very good call there. Ooh, another
pick. Ninja, he could be dead for this one. Flashes sideways, first shot. Jukes to the left, he gets away. Another flash comes out. And the Envy squad will live for now. Looking for a bit more. Snipe on a Ryu. And all right, disengage. But that was mid-outer turret killed, I do believe. Oh, he stole it. Good job, Arrow.
He's definitely a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
All right, so this should be a pretty easy Cloud Drake, but then you want to keep the minions flowing up through mid and bottom here. Try and make use of this Baron buff that they're working with. They do have an Ocean, so they could move from this Drake up to continue sieging with the regeneration of the Ocean, but
yeah,
opt to go spend their cash instead, as they were all sitting on a decent
2K.
amount. Yeah.
I checked right as they're recalling. 2,000 on a lot of them. Void Staff and Arm Guard, all bought at once by Ryu. Definitely a lot to build through. All right, and then we're going to go back onto the map. Arrow going towards Infinity Edge third. Love it. It could be Armor Pen as well. I guess we'll see what it ends up actually being. And the Sterix Gauge going to come out for Zig, realizing he wants a little bit more frontline durability. He's got to respect what Jason, Malzahar, and co can do to him. I forget if Sterix has the longsword in after the Jarm's Fist. Maybe I'm just wrong about this.
It's either that or Health Crystal.
Yeah, I don't buy the item enough. It's no longer like broken and overpowered, so I don't buy it all the time anymore. I used to know. Toby's gonna alt tab and look it up for me. Thanks, buddy.
It's pretty good. I like the change where they made it more cost efficient.
It could be Titanic Hydra.
Some off of the combine costs, but yeah.
All right, well, the siege is on towards the bot lane tier 2 right now. Baron buff on all 5 makes it pretty simple. Ryu's
Yes,
gonna keep spamming Q with the blue buff. It is Jarm's Fist, all right. Into Longsword, into Sterix Gauge. A lot of damage on a Ninja. He's got to cut away from this one. Meteos gets the kill into Hakuho, and they've got a second kill already. The re-engage, so there's a lot of damage coming out from the squad, but it's a 3-for-0. Envy could not get the fight to go the way they wanted. And it's going to be 4, actually, as Seraph's still getting chased down. Meteos in the front lines.
Let us
feeling
Ninja
good
do
about
it.
that one. And Ninja, he's trying to turn it around. He looked for Adrian, can't quite get it into range, and that's a turret and 4 kills for P1.
All right, I want to follow this chase. I want to see where where he's going with this one. Looks like they're going to ignore him instead. Just take his base instead.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the inhibitor turret at the very least. We'll see if they stay for more. They do still have empowered recalls for the next 40 seconds, so it's not going to be a problem to reset quickly off the push, but P1 making it look great now into the mid lane as well. They got so much off that team fight. Several turrets, 2 inhibitors, 4 kills, and will they be punished at all? Ninja slowed, but not much else to do. It's just the easy reset now. P1 are massively ahead.
The Slick double inhibitor destruction at 26 minutes here for Phoenix1. Remember back to the start of this game too, this was an Envy favored start once again.
Yep.
Mistakes around mid lane with their dive offer up Phoenix1 a bunch of gold, and then after the gangplank play to get Baron, they just immediately go to the siege where they absolutely crush the team fight. Nice Lulu ultimate there as well to save the back line from Adrian, and very clean dive from them.
And this game started 4-for-0 to Envy in terms of kills. It's gone 6-0 since then to P1, the Baron and the turrets as well on top of that. It didn't take quite as long to get all those advantages in some of these cases. Envy now hoping to lick their wounds and find the way back in. Baron buff has timed out by now, so maybe they can start to regain their footing. It's still an 8,000 gold deficit that'll work back, but it's going to take quite a bit of effort.
I mean, yeah, plus 2 lines of super minions.
Yeah.
Phoenix1 aren't even waiting for the super minions. They're just bullying right on through here. All right,
Right
the Great Wall of Caitlyn traps. Will it save their... Nope.
The Great Wall of Cupcakes means almost nothing. Now the snipe's on towards Apollo. Jumps right into another one. Dodge number 3, dodge number 4. Gangplank wave clear buys a bit more time as they look for turret shots, but the Cupcakes just too deadly. P1 worried about their cholesterol and just going to wait outside the turret range. Maybe they're on a diet, I don't know.
I mean, they've got plenty of time, and they don't have to rush anything, so they're actually very good at disengaging too. Here comes the Lyra.
All right, here we go, looking to the front line. Adrian going to kite back as well. 2-man stun. Lyra and Seraph can't get in just yet. Ninja tries to the side, but also pushed away by the Elise. Actually, Meteor still on the chase down to the bottom side. And going to kite back down. Lyra and Ninja going to get themselves back into the top side.
That's all you need to do. Buy more time where they're not killing minions, and now Envy are forced to go clear out the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of damage onto the turret. It might actually just die. The supers are worth too much, and yes, that is a turret picked up in favor of Phoenix1 as they siege back towards the top side. They know it's a 5 versus 2. They've caught Ninja as well. Actually, he's still going to stay alive, and Apollo looking for the damage. No, the Zonia's buys him the time. Still has the chance to do it. Yes, gets the shot through. The crit's going to happen. Zig eats a trap, gets out. All right, 1 for 0 in kills. Sorry, 1 for 1. Ninja did actually go down at the end. I missed that, but it's more turrets going down, and the inhibitor almost falling as well.
Yeah, it's times like these where you just hang around your super minion buddies and just kind of hang around in the base, let them do the work. Boom, boom.
800 damage crit. He's
gone. Inhibitor gone. All right, go to work, super minion buddies.
Looks like a sub 30-minute win in the works now for Phoenix1. The single Ocean Drake giving that little bit of extra region to stay. Stun's gonna land. Apollo, not long for the world, and it's gonna be Seraph up next. Hiding away in the fountain, revealed, shot by the curtain call. Gonna miss most of it, but it doesn't even matter. The turrets are dead. The Nexus next up on the platter. Lyra exhausted, dying under the fountain. It doesn't matter. That's gonna be the quick turnaround kill into Zig. Who cares though? Game's gonna end. This is Phoenix1 making it 2-0. The second game taking half the time of the first, closing it out. Good victory to the Phoenix1, improving to 5-4 in the North American LCS.
Yeah, great job by Phoenix1 taking that mid-game tower dive and punishing Team Envy so heavily. Also, Zig with the gangplank escapes multiple 3-member ganks down towards the bottom side where he's pushing, using his advantage. He's able to escape plus teleport in to get that game-changer for the team. That's all you want from your split pusher. He's able to take the pressure from the enemy team and then come join for the objective. Yep. Much better game for them in game number 2. Meanwhile, Team Envy still face a lot of the same problems.
Yeah, Envy look kind of the same as they have every week so far. Pretty good early game. First 20 minutes looks solid, and then the game all falls apart. This time around, it was a 20,000 damage gangplank piloted by Zig. No, he's supposed to be known as the role player. Plays a couple of carries in this one and does pretty nicely for himself. Definitely some solid split push, some solid plays overall, mechanically quite great. Meteos, with his Phoenix1 debut, does manage the 2-0. There he is on your screen, feeling pretty good.
Meteos in 2017, undefeated.
All right, good start. Yep, already officially better than every other jungler win rate-wise. This guy is perfect. But no, I think, you know, made the game-winning smite steal in the first one. That was a good showing from him, that he's still got those mechanics. And
as far as a guy who's talked about, I haven't been playing the game much recently,
yeah,
even solo queue, and then boom, they call him up. We need to do some scrims. Yeah, they do scrim for, you know, maybe half a week or something, and get some time in.
He looked okay.
As far as that, looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I want when I have an emergency sub and you come on the squad. Yeah.
Right. The goal is not, for those who didn't kind of hear the story, is not to keep him around forever. He is filling in for a Nori who can't attend this week. We assume and hope that
he was traded to the team, so maybe they build him up.
I mean, he is officially part of the roster. Yeah, maybe for some reason if they don't want a Nori anymore, I don't see why. I feel like a Nori has been a better player so far this split, but yes, okay, Meteos is on the roster, you know, for sure now. He's officially a Phoenix1 member, but again, the goal is that Phoenix1 would typically stay with a Nori maybe in the next week or so. But hey, serviceable performance. Good for him, right? That's kind of that's my story for Meteos. Is he played
well. Good for him.
Good
all
for
right,
him. You won. All right, so now for first account on that one, let's hear from Pastry Time and P1 Sub Jungler.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Meteos, very popular jungler, and of course, Phoenix1's brand new jungler, at least for the weekend. How are you feeling just being back on the LCS stage?
Well, I always enjoy playing, so I didn't exactly expect to be up here, but I had a good time, and all the people on P1 have been really, really nice to me getting back into it.
And there's been a lot of changes in the jungle this season, but even like this weekend, we had a patch drop right before the LCS start with 7-3 changing up a lot of the junglers. How have you found the jungle meta game, and how was adjusting in a pretty short time for you?
Well, I think that macro-wise, the game's still what I'm pretty familiar with, but I've kind of been taking a break from League, not playing as much, because for 6 years I played it, 12 hours a day or more. So the past few months I've just kind of been chilling, and so I think my mechanics are pretty bad. I was doing a moderate bit of feeding in those games, but it happens. I'm glad we could get the win anyway.
And of course, you do play your old team Cloud9 this weekend as well. You're sticking around at least for this whole weekend. What are your thoughts moving into that match?
I saw FlyQuest play against C9 last weekend. I was like, I want to do that. It looks fun. But no, I mean, C9 looks really, really good now. Still friends with like almost everyone on the team. So it'll be a fun match. I've never had to play against them. Me and Sneaky going at it outside of solo queue. So it should be fun. I'm never going to stop ganking bot.
Well, looking forward to see that. One last thing for you. I know you said you've been streaming a lot recently. I believe you had something special to say to one of your subs.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to BlueShark193. He's the sub who drafted me in fantasy, even though I wasn't planning on playing at all. And I hope I got you some points, dude.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for the fantasy points. Thank you, Meteos, and congratulations on the win today. Back to the analyst desk to wrap out the day.
Blue Shark 193 doing some work, although, as Meteos said in his own words, he did a moderate amount of feeding there, though, so I wonder how the points actually worked out for him. But, hey, Meteos on Phoenix1 pull out a 2-0 series here. Both games, slight comeback, so, of course, it's not like it was all sunshine and roses and they're a super dominant team with them in. But they pull out these victories, and they're going to be happy to do that without their starting roster.
Exactly. Because of the fact it's a sub and they still win, they actually do break their 3-match losing streak. This could have been 4. They could have been at 4 and 5 and actually dropped out of that pack where Immortals is now there.
Right.
Echo Fox is now there in the standings. So Phoenix1 picking up a win against Envy, it does tide them over a little to continue to be in that top half. So with the sub, good job for them. But I also think, like, the team in general, it's not just Meteos subbing in. I feel like a lot of these guys actually did well today.
Speaking of moderate feeding, let's take a look at some moderate. Let's take a look at some moderate feeding. 3:30 into the game here, Meteos with an ultra patient. This is actually it's a smart play here to suspect that Lyra might come clear his blue side, but it all goes wrong.
We had a little bit of a debate. Is this too much patience or too little?
Right.
Should he have waited a little longer, or should he have not waited this long? There's the fact that the Rengar comes down here.
Literally,
this is smart, though.
if he waited 2 extra seconds, he sees Rengar and he gets to fight him straight up. If he had gone sooner to the Wolves, he just clears the Wolves, leaves, and then Rengar has nothing to clear.
Yeah.
So kind of sitting in that middle ground is what really screwed him over, as well as the rest of his team.
Yeah, also, like, he doesn't have to cocoon there. He can actually just go straight for the blast cone. Then he gets knocked over the wall. And now he's kind of screwed at this point.
Yeah,
like,
this is
I don't know what's happening
This
now.
is beautiful. Hey, smites for the Scuttle. He actually does a fantastic
Yeah.
job of living as long as he can. But really what this does, more than setting Meteos behind, it sets the bot lane behind.
Yeah.
Arrow with that death there is now in a rather large deficit that he has to come back from throughout the course of this game.
Yeah, doesn't have summoners, and then at the same time, it's like, now I'm down 10 CS. Caitlyn comes back with a pickaxe afterwards, has his kill and an assist.
Right.
So he's put behind, and then there's definitely pressure there. But once again, like, Envy, man, like, you guys have a lead. You have, like, summoner spell advantages. You're getting so much out of these guys. Like, oh, my God, they cannot seem to actually
Starting to get
start
frustrating.
getting a snowball.
Starting to get frustrating, am I
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like
It's very frustrating to
it's gotten to
watch.
this point where you look at a team like Phoenix1 who has a deficit like that and has the composure to climb back with a sub on their roster, as compared to a team that has been practicing and playing together now for at least 5 weeks, who can't put together a win with large advantages. At a certain point, these advantages aren't just like 300 gold advantages, they're rather large.
And, like, the stuff they're working with, too, even gold advantages, that's fine, and that's something we look at and we go, okay, you should be snowballing from here. But, like, even team composition, Rengar, Shen, you have double global pressure. Sure, it could be matched by the gangplank in this game, but the previous game, it's no excuse. You have Rengar as well to try and make plays. They are not making these plays, and that's what's so frustrating about watching Envy is they have the lead, they have the tools, they are not making the plays.
All right, things start to fall apart. 25 minutes into the game, Phoenix1 makes a 4-for-0 play in the bot lane. This is really what does it for him. Of course, after they secured a Baron, which is what more so evened up the gold.
Yeah, that Baron was crazy, but this fight as well, Seraph comes in a little late, triple taunt, there's no damage left because Ryu had already just used ultimate to push Ninja out. I don't know why his Edge of Night was not on at the beginning of the fight, because that thing should just be on cycle. Keep using it every time you think there's going to be even a fight nearby.
Absolutely. But ultimately, that fight put the nail in the coffin to a degree for Envy, this gold graph. I mean, come on. At 10 minutes, you had a 2.2K gold lead. 2.2K. It doesn't look that big because of the scaling on the graph where it's a 10K gold lead at the end for Phoenix1. But in all seriousness, 2.2K gold lead at 10 minutes is pretty astronomical.
In terms of percentage of gold, you're looking at like 120% of the enemy team's gold at that point. Like, that is a point where you should be winning the game, snowballing from there, getting the turret, and then running over that team.
All right, but now let's talk about the reasons why Phoenix1 was able to come back in here. A lot in part due to Zig in the top lane, who will be picking up player game this time around. On that Gangplank, which we know he loves, obviously has increased gold generation because of the passive, but he also out-farmed like a monster. While all that craziness was happening elsewhere on the map, he's throwing his ult to help out and maybe slow things down wave clear, but he was picking up farm left and right.
And that's the thing as well, is like this guy, he's playing the Gangplank. We know that he loves it. A lot of pros have actually complimented his Gangplank and said it's really clean, looks really good on it. But he's also drawing attention. Right? When they got that Baron, it's because Hakuho went bottom with Lyra to try and pick him off, and then the rest of Phoenix1 were like, we used that opportunity. Even if Zig dies there, they still get the Baron because the pressure that he provided. So that's the really cool thing about him on that Gangplank, dealing most damage in the game, starting the engages with a soft engage tool of the ultimate, and also pulling so much pressure that they had to deal with it.
Yeah, pressure game's so important. I want to look at Phoenix1 moving forward for this weekend. We, of course, know that they're going to be playing Cloud9. That's a fun little match for Meteos, as he mentioned, going up against some of his old former teammates. But with this squad moving into that match against C9, it is an expected loss, I think, by all accounts. Even if Inori were in, it would still be an expected loss based on the standing.
8-0, right?
So my question to you is, what do you want to see out of this makeshift roster here from Phoenix1 that tells you they're still moving in the right direction without Inori, that this team will be better come week 6 when he's back in?
I actually think like Arrow is playing really consistently, and that's a good check mark. I think that Zig on engages has been doing well as well. I want to see that go a little bit further. He did a really good job in that game with Gangplank, but Ryu is the part for me that is rather inconsistent right now.
Gotcha.
Because Inori was like high highs, low lows, but then Ryu is kind of like high highs, but then his lows could still actually lose them the game, or lose them an advantage too. So if he's able to find a little bit more consistency in that mid lane, that's what I'm looking for from Phoenix1, and then overall teamwork, right? Because their objective control has been pretty ridiculous with Meteos too.
Looking for Ryu at Worlds, not Ryu from the EU LCS, where he struggled with the same inconsistency. I'm only drawing a comparison to say that this is something that's been prevalent.
We want
in his
NA
career
Ryu
in the past. We want NA Ryu, which is hopefully Worlds Ryu. Anyway, let's pull up the standings to see how the teams are stacked up. With their loss, FlyQuest dropped to 3rd place, while Phoenix1 hold on to 4th. Team Dignitas keep 8th place with their win, while Team Envy still look to snap their losing streak. We'll be back again tomorrow with another full day of action. Our coverage kicks off with Counter Logic Gaming versus Immortals on NALCS 1.